We've talked about user experience and how NFT domain names improve that user experience for everybody interacting with crypto. I mean, you mentioned it just a minute ago when I asked you about wallets, and it's like NFT domains create a human readable layer to your wallet address. That's a better experience. How how do these badges add to that experience that people are going to be experiencing when interacting with names or their domain profiles and such?
Yeah, so one of the components of your reputation, if you want it to be portable, is you also want it to be visible. And so one of the things that people have been really excited about is like showing their support for different projects on their profiles. And so they'll post things about them. And what we want to do is make a more programmatic way for you to show your support for projects as you travel around to different places online. And of course, we're going to start inside the Web3 community. And so one of the ways to do that is to have some sort of symbol. And like everyone is probably familiar at this point, if you've played around with crypto, with like proof of attendance protocol, POAP, and then people have different NFTs for different projects. Lots of projects have dropped special NFTs or swag to the users, and we're trying to automate this with your digital identity as your NFT domain. And this way, as an app, as a user or as a person, when you're going around on the internet and you're using a bunch of different apps, you're just interacting with them like you would anyway. And your data is all being collected, right? Because it's on the blockchain, but for you already. So you don't have to worry about collecting it up. And we're going to help sort that data and curate it so that applications, when they interact with you, and you come there with the login with domain, you use your NFT domain as your reputation on that app, they can then ask for your permission, and with your permission, create special badges for you, like basically create NFTs that represent, like, hey, you're a number one Uniswap user, right? And this is something that people in Web3 have been playing around with for, I guess, since DeFi summer, when people wanted to get badges for their DeFi, for their participation in different DeFi protocols, and it's something that we think is more generalizable to basically every type of application. So this is us, and we pick badges specifically because we think it's low friction. Your blockchain transactions are already public, so we didn't feel like this was too much of a ask on privacy. And then we're also looking to make sure that apps are asking for your permission when they do issue you a badge, so that you have some agency on whether or not you want to have this thing. But this is just one way for you to show when you're on one app, you can imagine logging into another app, and then they can see your badge. So like I talked about at the very beginning of this podcast, it's like, hey, if you applied to be like the treasurer at a DAO, it's like, well, it would be great if you had a badge that said you were on the treasury team at the 3 other DAOs that you're at before then. And that's the type of thing that we want you to bring. So you can, when you go in there and you apply for the job, you're like, see, look, I got the badge. And then those badges are verified because they can see the signature from those applications. And that's going to open up more doors for people.
Totally. So I said earlier that NFT domains make your wallet address human readable. Badges make your on-chain transactions human readable. So all those transactions that we have that are lost in the blockchain, we all know they exist on the blockchain, and but who really knows how to search for them? You have to be technical to do so, and to then start putting the puzzle pieces together to show what they really were, what those transactions represent. And these badges are the first attempt at making those transactions, like leveling it up a layer to the human layer, and we get to showcase those with our friends and our community. And so, with these badges that we're rolling out, they're very NFT heavy right now. It's focused on NFT communities that you're in, the level of how early you were, if you were minting a project, or did you buy it on secondary? Do you hold a Bored Ape? Do you hold a Moonbird? Do you hold a CryptoPunk, etc.? But what other actions do you think we are going to be wanting to celebrate? Do you have any recommendations or thoughts on where these go after simply showcasing? I mean, you mentioned the treasury example. Any other thoughts?
So we'd love to hear from apps on this. And so if you are an app developer and listening to this, let us know. And we're starting to do more like fireside chats, I guess, in our BD teams to talk with apps, because we want to hear from app developers. And really, what we want to help you do at Unstoppable Domains is really around like spam control, curation, and then surfacing of this data for both users and apps. Because like you're saying, like if it's not, if you can't see it as a person, then it's like it's not even there, even if you have that history. So you're not getting credit for things that you're doing already right now. And then on the app side, we just want to make tools so that it can be automated, and because all of this exists already. But the thing is you just can't scale it up if it's very manual to do each of these things. So there's a lot of tooling around that, and that's where Unstoppable Domains is going to be. So we really want to help be the platform for bringing these types of interactions forward for people. And we want people to get creative. If you are running a DeFi protocol or a DAO or what have you, there's all sorts of things you could do. And we'll do some things as well for the Unstoppable Domains community, specifically things around learning, because we really want people to try out a lot of different things on their crypto journey. And we'll see where it goes.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing right now, and I want to make it very clear for anyone listening to the pod, is right now Unstoppable is determining what actions are eligible for this first round of badges as we start rolling out these features. But it sounds like you're really thinking about, and the product team is really thinking about, how we see the badge ecosystem becoming interoperable with other dApps.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%. And so we don't want to actually be making the decisions on what's what, as long as we have double opt-in, right? Meaning from like the person, because we don't want people to get spammed. So you need to ask people before you just spam them with stuff. So you got to get like a signed transaction from that. Like this is the goal, is that the person is going to permission you to take, to assign them a badge, and then you're going to sign a transaction that says, yes, this is a legit one. And then just like OpenSea or these other places who double check their reputation on certain collections, because there's going to be fraud out there, we're going to try to also provide some help on that side. We'll see what we can do there to help prevent, because scammers are going to scam. But yeah, ultimately it should be determined by other people, because we don't know what's the coolest thing inside of your application, right? And like I have friends who have games in the space. Some of the games are fighting games, for instance, and they have like a champion of the week or whatever. And maybe that's a pretty cool badge to have. And then I'm not a big Axie Infinity player, but there's some pretty cool things. Axies are on chain, so you can see a lot of that. But maybe there's some cool stuff there as well that they'd want to represent. Or maybe you're, a level 100 warlock or whatever, and that's something that the game developers want you to be able to portably take around to other places. And you can make that a badge, and then for that badge, you can see that the app has signed it and verify that that's true, and then you can also see the user has signed it to accept it to make sure that's true. So we want that double opt-in to happen. We think that's kind of where we're headed. And then as far as determining it, we just want to help build the tools to make this more possible for people to interact with. And what's cool is we're focusing on the public aspect here first, so we can talk about. We'll eventually get to more use cases for reputation where it's private, and there's some things you don't want everyone to see. But for the public ones, it also helps create more community between apps, because you'll be able to see, like if you have a new NFT app that is a gaming app, like a blockchain gaming app or something, it'd be kind of cool if you could see the other games that people played, right, that you were interacting with on that game. And that may be something that's they would want to support inside the UX, so people could say, oh my God, you play this game too, join this Discord, blah, 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 blah. And it creates a much better community, because you're able to bring more of yourself into each of these applications. And that's one of the big things that we're trying to tackle at Unstoppable Domains. Like, the big problems that we face in this space, I think one of those is people aren't able to bring their full selves into their interactions on the internet. And if we can enable that, hopefully we'll bring a better sense of community online and make things less divisive.
You're listening to the Unstoppable Podcast, the go-to place for everyone to learn about the latest innovations in Web3, NFTs, and the decentralized web. Welcome to the metaverse.